Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. What the business is. Well, let's talk about it. Breaking news, trending topics, we gon' talk about it. Pop out solo, if I don't, I keep some bosses around me. Bosses link up, when we pull up, you gon' see some stars. What you smoking, what you drinking, where your humidor? I could see that we was what the people waiting for. Boss talk, brown liquor, and a few cigars.
Yo, you tuning in to Cigar Talk. I am your host, CEO Solo. I got my co-host today, Frank Money, Frank the Don.
There we go. What's up? How y'all doing out there?
Listen, man, we got a special guest. Somebody that I came across in a barbershop just going to get my hair cut, and everybody know how much I love my hair. I didn't know how much I was going to learn that day, but I did. And I came across Tyrone Dennis.
What's going on, man?
So listen, man, I'm going right in, man.
Let's go.
Clippers and cops. What made you come up with that?
So, I myself, I'm a St. Louis native, born and raised. I grew up in the 4700 block of Macmillan on the Hodemont tracks in the Fountain Park neighborhood.
That's crazy.
But I also later became an Atlanta police officer.
Dope.
And so I did 16 and a half years with the Atlanta Police Department.
Dope.
And in doing Atlanta Police Department, I worked gangs for 10 years.
Wow.
And so with that background, when I would go get my hair cut, at the barbershop, everybody's equal.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
I would go to my boy Stoney, shout out to Stoney's in Atlanta. It's on Edgewood, a block away from the King Center. He would cut my hair.
Yeah.
And when I would go to the barbershop, we would have these awesome conversations. Everybody was equal. They didn't know I was a cop at first. Eventually they did.
Right.
And it was like no holds barred.
Right.
And so from that, as I've been mentoring and volunteering since 2005.
Nice.
And so I thought that in the barbershop, if we can talk about whatever, why don't I create a space where we can do the same thing?
Yeah, for cops.
And so that's what gave me the thought of it.
Right.
I then reached out to different people from all walks of life. I'm friends with lawyers, doctors, convicts, and killers. And so I basically brought everybody into the same space.
Yeah.
Initially, it was all men. The first time we did it, March 1st of 2018.
Yeah.
When we did the first one, it was First 48 was filming in Atlanta.
Right.
And so they filmed it for me. Shout out to Joel Craig. He filmed it for me. Once we started posting video, everybody was like, oh my God, that's dope.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Yeah.
So then I get an email from a single parent mother who was like, my son needs to be in that conversation.
For sure.
And so at first I didn't want to open it up to the public because I thought that it was going to be a shouting match, everybody arguing.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of hesitant about just opening it up.
Right.
But I'm like, we can't discriminate against her, so I opened it up for women and eventually activists because we didn't want it to be a shouting match.
Right.
We then opened it up and brought in the shoot, don't shoot simulator that we use as police in the academy.
Right.
Because most people say in every officer involved shooting, well, they should have shot him in the leg or they should have did this.
Yeah.
How about you try it out for yourself so that you can get an idea that every situation is different. I'm not saying every cop is right.
Right.
But I'm not saying every cop is wrong.
Cop is wrong.
It's a split-second decision. And so as we opened it up, we started doing it once a month, every third Thursday of the month. And then it became the forum for everybody. Like we start having politicians. That's the best part about the program to me is we have politicians, we have cops, we have convicts in the same room.
In the same room.
Where you don't even know who you sit next to.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is about empathy, empathizing with something you know nothing about.
Yeah.
My whole thing is as a police officer, or I retired in August of 20, we can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result.
Right.
And at the end of the day, most people feel like the system is broke.
Yeah.
Well, if it's broke, let's do something different. And so when people say police reform, I feel like that's what Clippers and Cops is.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, man, when I saying it, I learned so much because
you wasn't even there that long.
I wasn't there that long, but I was there enough, and I stayed after because I was so interested in everything that you were saying and how you was checking the cops, you was checking everybody in the room with knowledge though. And
I wasn't even checking, but
but you was giving all knowledge.
You told me that when we first talked. I wouldn't say I was checking them. I was just redirecting.
Yeah, you was.
Because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, checking make it seem like I was sunning them or something.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't trying to
say
sun
that.
anybody.
Yeah.
I was just redirecting them and giving them a different insight.
I'm not gonna lie, man. When I was sitting there, I seen you walk in. First of all, when I pulled up, it was all cops outside.
I didn't make anybody
It
nervous.
was all cops.
Right.
So I'm already there. I'm like, I don't sell nothing. You know what I'm saying? But music. But at the end of the day, you never know. They probably like, okay, I know you were so-and-so with this person. You cool with this. Hey, we watching you. I don't know. So I was like, okay, it's all cops. And then we walk in the room like, ATL, man, what do you have me at, man? Like, what are we doing today? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's Clippers and cops. It's going to be all cops walk in, watch. And so it was two nervous cops right by me. I don't know why they was nervous.
They were younger.
They was younger.
They were younger.
But it was another cop, and these two mixed race cops. And it was another cop, it was a white cop that was the coolest cop that you probably could ever meet.
And he was white.
Yeah, and he was white and older. Then you had I don't want to say.
Say what you feel.
He was a dickhead. You had a dickhead sitting in the chair. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
He was the dickhead. You had that cop. You had all types of cops in the room that can teach you how to react to every single person.
And I think that's important to even
Bring the
highlight.
mic close.
I think it's even, important to highlight the different variations of the cops, because even like my first interactions, I had more white cops be kind of cool and chill with me than, black officers.
Black police showing out for the white guy.
Hey, look, we aging ourselves now. Hey, but no, what's important though is your mind frame and where you are. So when I was younger and I was having interactions with police, I felt a certain type of way. But I think a lot of times when we black and we see other younger black people kind of get in situations they ain't got no business being into, like we hard on because it's like, damn man, like we trying to navigate you. I'm not here to coddle you. As a young black man, you can't afford to be moving out here doing A, B, C, and D. Right. So now I don't even look at it if I see a black cop and he seems like he been a little rough or what. It's like, nah, he ain't been a dickhead. It's just, as a black person, man, you can't afford to be coddled and be treated, softer than normal because, man, people ain't playing with us out here. In general, just society, it ain't even necessarily with the cops, but it's just like, you can't go into these situations in life at all thinking you have an advantage or someone owe you some type of favor. You know what I mean?
Well, as a black cop, you get more scrutiny from black people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The first thing, when I talked to you, the first thing we talked about, you was like, man, they need more cops like you. Yeah. Well, those same, we have to present people like me. For sure. So that our people see that you could be a cop too. You know what I'm saying? If we really want our better communities and we want to have a voice, we have to sell it to younger black people that can be cops.
Right.
Why? Because a lot of black people think because you're a black cop, I'm supposed to cut you a break.
Yeah.
Like, man, come on, brother. We supposed to be brothers.
We brothers.
I mean,
well, we are brothers. But I'm gonna treat everybody. If I cut you a break and do the white guy wrong, I'm no better than the white guy that did the flip and did the same situation. Right. And so it's one of those things where I take pride. On my first day, my supervisor brought me in and he sat me down on this September 7, 2004. Yeah. And he said, these are your people. And he said, you're signing up to be an Atlanta police officer. And he said, if you can't do the job right, they'll find somebody that do the job. He said, but if you do it right, those same people that you serve will help you. Yeah. And they will protect you. And they won't let the hood or the streets or anything happen to you. And I live by that. And I learned empathy. Empathize with something you know nothing about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We all think that we at a certain point in life or whatever it is, like you might think you better than the homeless person. Right. But when you dig into that homeless person's background, he's no different than you. Right. Life gonna life. Everybody's gonna deal with it differently. Yeah. And once you learn empathy, you treat everybody with respect. Why? Everybody. Because just like the conversation y'all was having with Kiwan, you pay it forward. Because that same person, if you remember training day, you remember they was finna shoot
on me.
They was finna shoot Ethan Hawke. But then he had did that good deed, not because anybody asked him to, because that was him.
Yeah, that's the right thing
That
to do.
actually saved his life. And so as an officer, you do what you're supposed to do because that's what you're supposed to do. And if you do that all the time, God will take care of you. It's like planting seeds. And so even with Clippers and Cops, all we're trying to do is do something different. Am I saying it's the end all? Nah. But it's proven. I've been doing this for 6 years.
It is
Not
so
only
dope.
in Atlanta. It started in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But then I retired and moved back in 20.
Right.
And when I moved back, my barber, D, he was like, hey, man, I keep cutting your hair for you to go to Atlanta to do. You need to do it here. Yeah. And so I hooked up with my girl, Megan O.
Yeah.
And then and then my boy, Donnie Walters, he's a sergeant with St. Louis Police Department, the Ethical Side.
He was there too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so once we all hooked up, I basically took the same formula and we started doing the same thing here.
Yeah,
Crazy part about it, it's received differently here. Yeah. Because St. Louis is not used to us, me.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's almost
sure.
like I'm an alien or something. But at the same time, I feel like God allowed me to move back home to bring what I learned in Atlanta back. Because St. Louis can be awesome too.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
We can't begin to be awesome until we address the elephants in the room.
Yeah, for sure.
If you had cancer right now, what was the first thing would you go do? Go get treatment, right? We know we have a crime problem, right? But we don't care to address it. It's like, man, your business. That ain't your business. Well, we can't begin to push the city forward until we address that problem.
True.
What do you say to a person that, say if it's a crime and they saying it, you know, it's some kid that's probably like, man, I seen so-and-so shoot this person. But they like, man, I don't, if I tell a cop, I know I should tell the cop, but I know if I do, I'm going to have a problem. What do you say?
So for myself, I worked investigations for 10 years. Yeah. And working inner city crime, one of the most difficult things and tasks that you have is navigating the infrastructure of the hood.
Right.
That means snitching, the no snitching policy.
Man.
Well, if you have to protect yourself at all costs. Yeah. That's what Crime Stoppers is for. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the number here, but that's what that's for. Right. So that you can make an anonymous tip to help guide the detectives to do what they need to do. Right. If you say nothing, you allow that person to victimize again. Right. What that means, that's just like your uncle that's a pedophile that touched on your sister that you said nothing. Well, guess what? That same uncle might touch your daughter. Right. And if you would have handled that then, it wouldn't have happened. And so it's the same thing with crime. Most people that's in the streets, that's the life that they have now chosen. Right. And whatever reason you chose it, that's your business. But once you victimize somebody, the police only can do so much. You know what I'm saying? True. The police can only work a case on what the information they have. It's not what I know, it's what I can prove. I can know you did it. And if you were sitting there and you say, I ain't testifying, I can't prove that case. Right. And then that person walks. Well, we have to decide what we want as people. You know what I'm saying? Do we want to live in a society of us looking over our shoulder, or do we want to get the cancer out and live happily ever after? Right.
That's true.
Right.
I think one thing I wanted to ask you is just kind of like growing up, what was your original perception of, you know, police officers in general? You know, once you said where you was from, I said, oh, okay. You know, because the people a lot of believe, like I was one of those people, no disrespect, but I thought two things about cops. Either they was lame and square, and this is their way of like getting my power back. They got some authority over people. Or I also thought they was just crooked and just never caught no felonies. You know what I mean? That was my, as a youth, that's what I thought. Right. So just, you know, you coming from the environment that you came from and growing up and being around the people, what was your initial perception of police officers?
Man, I grew up around in the crack era. I saw dirty cops, okay? I saw cops doing all type of nonsense. Mm-hmm. So my perception was the same as yours. F the police, they out to get us, they're the enemy, all right? As I got older and crossed over into that realm, I got to see that every cop ain't I never was lame. I've been popular since kindergarten.
Yeah,
I played
yeah,
sports. Yeah. All right. So I ain't never got bullied. Nobody never took my lunch money, and I'm trying to get nobody.
So we
back.
never gonna hear no
None
stories
of that.
about
Stop it.
Not gonna happen. All right.
What he saying the last episode? I boxed at 12th and Park. I'm good with my hand. I don't need a gun. I can fight.
Yeah, I can fight.
Let's just say that for the record.
Yeah.
But my stature actually keeps me from even having to do any of that. I'm 6'5", 270.
All right, look at that height. They ain't running up.
Well, at the end of the day, but it's a respect thing. When you give respect, you get respect.
Yeah, for sure.
In the hood, the same thing my supervisor told you. When you respect and give respect, people respect you. And so I learned that would you rather be feared or respected? And as a police officer, being feared will allow somebody to kill you.
Right.
Being respected, that same person that could kill you would actually say, you ain't never did wrong. I should blow your head off.
I'm gonna give you a pass.
I'm gonna give you a pass. And so the neighborhood in which I worked in Atlanta, I earned the respect of the people. And so from that, I didn't have to put my hands on too many people. Did some people try me early on? And then once you show that I'm with whatever you with.
Right.
If you want to be peaceful and respectful, I'm respectful. If you want to fight, we can fight. But at the end of the day, when I get on this radio, it ain't gonna end well for you.
Right.
And once you explain that to people over the time and they see your demeanor, they respect you. And on scenes, crime scenes, those same guys, the hardest guys in the neighborhood,
They crying.
they ain't crying. They gonna be like, hey, you gonna be around the way later? Boom, let me put a bird in your ear. Hey, such and such did that earlier. Leave me out of the discovery package. And then you go do your job and you lead them out of there and you navigate the way you happen. Why? Because that's the hood.
Yeah.
The hood, snitches, talking to the police can cost somebody their life.
Right.
Yeah,
And so as a police officer, you have to value the fact that somebody stepped up and took faith in you to protect that.
Right.
Why? Because this guy told me this one time. He said, man, I sell dope. He said, I don't want to carry a pistol. He said, so if we can get the mugs that's carrying pistols up out of here, I can go back to just selling dope.
Right.
And I was like, dang, that's some genius stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, some people would say he's a drug dealer. Yeah, he's a drug dealer. But at the same time, it's a code. You remember The Wire? What Omar said? It's a code.
Yeah.
And some people have a code. The problem is, as we've gotten older, the streets have lost those codes.
Nobody's sticking to them.
Well, first off, people say don't snitch. Majority of the people are going to snitch.
Yeah, they're
are you
gonna
doing
tell.
20 years for your people?
Yeah, no.
Some
that's
guys
crazy.
will say, yeah, I'm standing tall. No, you're not.
Ten
No, you're
toes.
not. You're not.
What did they say? 10 toes down.
Man, stop it. It's only a few that will stand 10 toes down. When I mentor kids, and the moment I do a scenario and I say, would you do 20 years for your man?
I'm not
They
even getting
start
in the
doing
mix.
this, bruh. Hey, twin. I don't even know. I love you, but I can't do 20 years for you.
I'm not going to be in the mix that way.
The thing that we need to preach to the youth is just like getting that myth out of their head, because in all actuality, somebody told me this once before. Say me and him do a crime, right?
I'm not even doing one with you.
Right. Hey,
I'm doing it by myself.
Solo been my partner for 30 years. He didn't tell me, hey, don't do nothing illegal around
Right.
me. You know, so I respect that he already let me know where he stand.
Right.
But let's just say we go do something. When it all boiled down, who do you love more? Do I love your mama more than I love my own mama?
Right,
Do I
right,
love your kids
right.
more than I love my own kids?
Dang.
So even on not even being street, when you
crazy.
just thinking about it, they got you in them rooms and they talking to you, you like, 40 years, my kid ain't went to graduation, ain't went to prom, ain't do none of that. Man, people gonna be trying to come home. You know what I mean? So anybody that's talking out there, oh man, I'm standing tall. It's a lie. It's less than 1% of the people that are going to keep it 100 and stick to those same codes and principles.
The sad part about my profession and being a detective, everybody that came across my desk looked like us.
Right.
And that's the sad truth.
Yeah.
That's why I made it a point early on to start trying to keep them from even coming across my desk.
Right.
I do a program with Clippers and Cops. We do Clippers and Cops Campus Invasion. And I speak by myself, Go Pro in Life. Most kids think they're going to the league or they're going to be a rapper.
Yeah, for sure.
The reality of that is whatever parent you have that's taking care of you, you got Balenciagas and Jordans on, but you don't have a job. They are pro in life,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So what I'm getting at is we are being, through music in some aspects, we're being brainwashed.
Right.
And think about it. Gang culture. Gang culture in St. Louis, when the movie Colors came out, that's when I learned about gangs. When we went to Union Station and saw Boys in the Hood and Doughboy stood over and said, turn yo over. We stood up and clapped. They got him. They just fed us gang culture.
Right.
And now, 30 years later, we wonder where it came from.
Right.
The entertainment portion of it. If you don't have anybody to direct you and say, well, that's entertainment, or to educate you, some may think that's the way they're supposed to handle it. Think about it. If everybody in your family then went to prison, some may think that's my rites of passage. That's what I'm supposed to do.
That's where I'm going,
Right? But everybody that knows somebody in prison, when they call, have any of them ever said to you, hey, boy, I got the seal waiting on you, dog. Like, I'm waiting on you, bros. Hey, go on, pull back, ride that bank. I'm waiting on you. No, they say, what y'all doing? Hey, I'm coming home soon.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Hey, bro, don't come here.
Yeah, that's
why?
the talk.
Because prison is not built for anybody.
Yeah, that's
it's a bad place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
No, I think I'm glad you made the correlation with the gangs and hip hop and music and how we got brainwashed. Because I aged myself. I'm an '80s baby, so I'm 36.
Okay.
So I was born in '88, and coming up in the '90s, that was a real big thing. And just being transparent, the gang thing is what really influenced me big time.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we have a hard time. I think like Boys in the Hood, I think John Singleton was trying to highlight something to show us, but we just focused on the wrong thing. Plus, mixed with the music, it get glorified. So, like you saying, you know, all the people that came across your desk look like us. I think it directly correlates with like the hip hop culture. But how do we change the mentality? Because right now, like you said, 30 years later, gangs are everywhere. I mean, we watch an NBA game when they hit a three. Some say if you know it's blood or it's Pyru, depending on where you from. You know what I'm saying? Or now, since Nipsey made it popular, they throw up neighborhood when they hit the three if they don't want to do that. Even with the handshakes and the team members, you know what I mean? Everybody who don't got a special handshake with their partners or they homies and stuff like that. So it's the culture has been so, I call it a poisonous IV. You know what I'm saying? It's going straight in your veins and there's nothing that you can do about it. But how do we direct the youth and try to like make that separation? Besides, because I didn't listen to nobody. I didn't listen to anybody until I felt like you can relate to me. Right. So knowing back then, I wouldn't have listened to nothing you had to say till you told me you was from the tracks. I said, oh, okay.
True.
I already know what's going on. I know what type of set that is down there. I know what's going on. So it's like, okay, he know a little something. But a lot of times we be judging books by their cover. So you might see somebody, you know, as I got a personal story, a person who kind of saved my life with some knowledge and kind of getting me off that track. The first time he ever addressed me, he said, what up, Lo? I ain't got no blue on, no nothing. But I guess he knew where the neighborhood and everything I was from that caught my attention. You know, so I'm like, okay, he clearly knows something. Right. You know, so I think outside of us making sure that we can relate to the youth, what's some other ideas or other things we can do to kind of get them away from, because the gangs is everywhere.
So I came in contact with an individual in Atlanta. You can look him up. His name is David Hamilton. They call him Super Crip.
Damn.
He hooped.
Yeah.
He from Compton.
Yeah.
He got shot the day before a game. The NBA guys are all on all these podcasts talking about it. He actually mentored with me.
Right.
And he basically said, in order to change someone's life, you have to change their people, places, and things.
Yeah.
With these youth, they have to see the other side. Through hip hop, we glorifying this life as if that's it.
Right.
Nah, show them what come with that.
Right.
When Pooh Shiesty say I'm getting it back in blood, he's basically telling them gang retaliation.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, where Pooh Shiesty at right now?
Right. Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? You have to show, for them to see better, to do better, they have to see better. So you have to educate them and show them better. Yeah. Show them a legal way to make money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Show them there's more to life than robbing, stealing, and killing. Because with all of that, it's an expiration date. It's like a carton of milk.
Right. Yeah.
When you put a carton of milk in the refrigerator, at some point, what happens to it? Either you're going to drink it, it's going to go bad, but at some point, you're going to throw it out. Yeah. It's the same thing with crime. Mm-hmm. You can't sell dope forever. You can't rob. You can't shoot. You can't do none of that forever. At some point, they coming to get you. Either the ops or the law is coming to get you. And so you have to show them that. I speak to the young youth about goal setting. Where do you see yourself in a year?
Right.
2 year, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Why? Because some of them have never been set down to think where I'm gonna be in these few years.
Right.
They living for the day. You know what I'm saying?
that's true.
Even for the girls. Some of the girls, they growing up through social media. Social media is a whole different beast, right? Because they might meet a lame guy online, and they might tell their brother and them, I just met this lame guy online. He finna come through. I'll set him up. We gonna rob him.
Yep.
Baby, you part of a conspiracy. You feel me?
Right.
If he pull and they shoot him, you're a part of it. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to show them being in the streets is not nothing new. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is history repeating itself. But you have to show them different. There are so many legal ways to make money. Legal. Where you can literally, through the internet, make money.
Yeah, for real.
But it's glorified where everybody, I'm gonna get the bag, I'm gonna do this. That's great. But if you're putting your freedom at risk, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's true. I think you touched on something real good as far as showing them as a different way. Because one thing is, since I've been coming of age, I always just kind of got leaned towards the youth. So when he told me he was having you on, I said, oh no, I gotta be here.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's also like goal setting, time, and also just that balance. You know, like I said, the young people, they want to see who they can relate to. So even we might have outgrown the rims and this, that, and the third, but it catches the kids' eye. So you might have to just to say, oh man, that's some $40 rims, man. Them $8,000 rims. Yeah, but look, I done went to school. I done done this. I done managed my time and my money.
Yeah.
You know, show them a different way because, like you said, if we don't think we hooping, we rapping. If we ain't rapping, then we got a trap. You know
So
what I mean?
for myself, bag up. All right. I actually got expelled from high school.
Where'd you go to school?
Marquette. I'm a D6 student.
Okay.
For fighting. Right? So the moment I tell that story, they instantly relate. But then once I signed, I was about to sign and go Division I to Marquette University out of high school. Once I got expelled, I ended up having to go to junior college.
Right.
I signed my letter of intent in long-term suspension. At graduation, I got escorted to my seat, right?
Damn.
A coach took a chance on me. When I got to college, I linked up with guys from Chicago, Indianapolis, all over. So it's almost like a melting pot of guys that bring all these different ways of life, right? My first time coming home from St. Louis, one of my partners, I needed a ride back. He gave me a stolen car.
Damn.
True story. So I took an unbounded tape and a bag, and I rolled back to school. When I saw my coach, he said, hey, you got a new car?
Yeah.
Nah, it's my brother's, coach. My partner from Chicago said, hey, let me ride it back to Chicago. I want to go back to the crib.
Yeah.
Hey, we going to take some tags off this abandoned cars.
Sure.
Because we thought as youth, you don't think.
Yeah, you
The
just doing
decision making is the number one problem.
Right.
And so we took these tags off these wrecked cars and put it on the stolen car.
Right.
He drove back, came back next day. The police is at the apartment.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Man.
Right. But all these things, I'm not afraid to tell you about them.
Yeah.
Because every storm ain't meant to harm.
Right.
Some storms happen in your life. That's God's way of trying to pull you to where he wants you to be.
True.
Those storms that happen in my life, I wouldn't be here today speaking to you the way I am if I didn't experience that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it goes back to what you said, prejudging somebody. The moment I say I'm a cop or whatever it is, some people, like, I don't fuck with them, dog.
I don't rock with
12.
I ain't gonna lie. Like for me, it ain't the fact I don't rock with cops. I just get nervous.
You said that.
I get nervous around cops because they in a minute they can take your life. They can do whatever they want. When they pull you over and they tell you to get out the car. It was one thing on TikTok I just watched, right? It was a cop telling the person to get out the car. And there was another cop telling the person to
stay in the car.
Stay in the car. So he like, I'm confused. I don't know what to do.
Right.
So at that point, I'm looking like, what do you do in that situation?
The whole thing about the traffic stop is the number one problem for cops and black people. True. Minorities.
Yeah, for
Why?
sure.
Because since we was small kids, what we was taught, don't fuck with the police.
Man.
If the police when we go talk to kids, the first thing they say is, you get pulled over, run.
Man, I ain't hear that one.
Well,
shit.
most of the kids say run.
Yeah.
But when me and you talked, when you
Yeah.
said that, I asked you the same. When you said that, I
Yeah.
said, answer this question. Are you more fearful of the police or a misguided black male? And I say that because
yeah,
this is
you
why I
right.
say that. Because we can name several neighborhoods in the city of St. Louis. If I say, meet me there right now, you're going to be like, no, you're going to meet me somewhere
Yeah,
else.
you have to meet me somewhere
That
else,
ain't got
for
nothing to do with the police.
Yeah, I'm not
We're
coming.
fearing another black person.
Yeah.
And so with the police can be controlled if you learn how to deal with them.
Right.
At the end of the day, when I get pulled over, when you think when they pull me over, they know I'm a cop? No.
Nah, they
don't
looking
know
at your
that.
skin first.
But guess
yeah.
what? There's things that I can do to make him calm down.
So what things can you do?
Man, first
Yeah.
off, before you pull away from the house, have your license, registration, and insurance and know where it is.
Man.
Period.
Right.
St. Louis is the tip tag capital. All right?
No, real deal.
I'm just being real.
We go outside right now.
It's
It's somebody with
guarantee somebody in the parking lot got a tip tag.
I hope not,
2022,
Right?
2021.
So with that being said, make sure that the car, not your car, but the car that you're driving is legit. Why?
Yeah.
Because most people end up in somebody else's car.
Yeah.
They get pulled over and they be like, what you stopped me for? Right? Me, I didn't know. First off, in Atlanta, we got tag readers,
Yeah.
all type of that. The tag reader told me your tags was expired.
Right.
I ain't even have to run it.
Right.
And it then can flip it where I can then run the owner of that tag and then tell him if he want it. So guess what? I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a black male, you're a black male. Are you him?
Right.
So that's why I'm asking you these questions. Okay,
Right.
when you get pulled over, cut the dome light on.
Right.
Right? I tell people this. Roll your window down, cut your music down.
Right.
Sit your hands on the window. Don't put them on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Sit them on the
On the
window.
window, yeah.
You can see my hands.
Yeah.
It's no reason for you to be reaching for no gun.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Also, once you get pulled, can you record?
Right.
Yeah, you can record.
Right.
But how would you feel if I stuck a camera in your face right now?
Right.
You're gonna be like, bruh, bag up.
Yeah.
Hit record, put the camera down.
Because
and
y'all
let it-
recording too.
They should be recording too.
Yeah.
Most officers have body cameras now.
Right.
Right? So once you do all that, whatever's gonna happen, I ain't saying you got a yes sir, no sir, but you kill disrespect with kindness. Or when
Right.
someone's being extra, it takes two to argue.
Yeah, for sure. You
Some
right.
officers are aggressive. Some
You right.
officers are buttholes.
Yeah.
So you think you gonna win right there?
Not at all.
And so that's the things that we do a traffic stop with the young people and tell them. Because usually it ain't even the driver. It's the back seat people.
Man, yeah.
Bro, he can't even do that. I saw it on TikTok, bro. They can't even do all that.
TikTok
Boy,
University.
stop.
That's gonna get you
Guess
in a world
what?
of trouble.
As a police officer, I am trained to go.
Right.
Every day, this is what I deal with. This is another traffic stop for me.
Right,
For
right,
you,
right.
this is the first time you've been pulled over, second,
me,
whatever. it
man.
is, right?
Yeah.
So I'm asking you certain questions. Some are leading questions for
Right,
a reason.
right.
Because one, you don't know why I stopped you.
Yeah.
Give me a second to tell you why I stopped you. But if
Right.
you keep interrupting me, you messing up my train of thought.
Right.
Now, some of them aggressive? Of course they are.
Man, yeah. I
Of course,
think
man, I
I'll
ain't
be
gonna sit
every
here and lie to
aggressive
you.
one.
Is some of them exactly what we thought they were? Of course they are.
Yeah.
But do you play their game? The goal for you is to get off this stop. I just recorded it, so if he violated my rights, I'm calling somebody.
Yeah.
People, the news love those type of
Yeah,
things.
they love it. For
The
sure.
goal is to make it home.
Gotta survive the encounter.
I used to say that when we started Clippers and Cops. I used to say that all the time. It took one of my activist friends say, "You trying to make it home? Hell, we trying to make it home too."
True.
And I took that into account that everybody's trying to make it home.
Right.
But those same police officers that stopped you, they go to those neighborhoods that you're scared to go to.
Yeah.
They have
do.
to deal with those guys that you're scared of.
Right.
And they got to deal with the regular public too. So they got a split-second decision to make a decision on who you are.
Right. God damn, man.
That's a lot. It's heavy, But I think you touched on a lot of good things. I preach to everybody that I talk to. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Boom.
Don't ever think you that special that somebody just messing with you for no reason. So when you walk out the door, about having your license, having registration, insurance, all that together, I can say this. Every time I've been messed with, because my license was suspended or revoked. Any other time I'm riding clean and clear. Even with the tents, we think it's not a big deal, but it's certain laws in place. I always ride fishbowl. I've never been broke. I've never been stopped.
No lie, he do ride. Yeah, you do, bro.
But see,
He said fishbowl. I never heard that.
I swear I never. I've been on, dude. We've been best friends since 32 years, and I never seen him with tint on his window.
But it come from me getting certain information from certain people. So, like you said in the beginning, it's knowing the bad side of the streets. Right. My old dude was a street dude. You know, I've been in the car with him in January. It's ice cold, and he let all the windows down. I'm like, man, what in the world is going on? It's not registering to me. He like, yeah, the cops rolled past. He's like, I just want them to know ain't nothing going on in here.
Right.
You know, it's just me and my son. Like 30-something seconds, but he did get indicted by the feds. He doing something he had no business doing, but still, I had to pick up on certain things. So now I don't ride with tents. It's not because I'm doing nothing illegal. It's like, man, I don't want you even coming to bother me. Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Certain things like that. And I think you got to know or talk to people who've been on both sides. And I'm like, man, like you say, Pooh-Shiesty say getting back in blood, but it's like, bro, you don't even realize the phone calls that Pooh-Shiesty, people ain't picking up for him.
Man, listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Listen.
He might be on his second girlfriend because the first one went on about her business.
Listen, man, first off, most guys, when you in a crew, when you go down the road, those same guys that you stood tall for ain't putting nothing on your books.
Yeah.
Some of those guys probably, the main dude gonna be in a mess with your girl. Right. And it's one of those things where it's a no-win situation. The goal of it all is don't even get involved in it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I understand you got to do what you got to do, but it ain't meant to be forever.
Right.
And the thing about the streets, like we said earlier, that's why they made sidewalks.
Right.
The streets is not for everybody.
I'm walking in the grass.
It shouldn't be for anybody. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, I'm in the grass.
I got to thinking, I said, man, you know, what all the information I do know, I think I have a duty to let everybody know the truth.
You and me both.
We got a duty, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I walked my prison sitting down with my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you said it's almost a rite of passage, I would have been the third.
Wow.
Third generation, my grandfather, my father, all did at least 10 or more years in a federal penitentiary.
Man.
My old dude ain't get indicted, he was 42.
Shit.
So growing up, I mean, the rules don't change. Everybody want to be like their daddy. My daddy apologized to me. He said, man, if I would have been a doctor, you would have been a doctor. But I spent so much of my youth chasing after his shadow, wanting to be like him, and I thought it was a rite of passage.
Right.
You know, people still look at me, oh, I'm 36. I'm like, well, is the curse broke? I'm like, oh, you ain't got to worry about it.
Your daddy did this.
I'm not going to jail. But my old dude didn't lie to me. He told me the truth.
Yeah.
You know, me and him like best friends. So I had to hear my dad in certain conversations.
Yeah.
It's like, what? This was happening? This was going on? Or he'd be like, yeah, man, you the only one that been putting money on my books. I'm 17 years old, working at Schnucks. Getting paid every week. Western Union people know me like it ain't. It's back in the day, I'm dating myself.
You putting the same thing?
Yeah, you know, I'm dating myself, and so everything wasn't online. You know, you had to physically go online, and send that money through. You know what I'm saying? The FBOP. Yeah. I got used to it. You know what I mean? And he like, yeah, man, nobody hold it down but you. Or yeah, I ain't heard from this person. That person, man, the jail is meant to break you. It's a lone and cold world in there. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of stuff that people just don't get to know. But you think you talk about it, and it's like, man, he's square. He don't know what's going on. It's like, nah, man, my family come from that.
Yeah.
I'm still like that, but glory be to God, I ain't caught no felonies or nothing like that, and I got something to live for. I got kids out here. I got a family. I'm like, I ain't trying to run the streets. I'm trying to be on the streets. I got people depending on me.
Well, with all of that being said, if you take a bid, right, for whatever reason, if you have children, you leave your children to fend for themselves and to figure it out on their own.
Right.
And so, usually, the kids gonna do what they need to do. By the time you get 13, you start getting hair on your chest. Yeah. You trying to get your own. Think about it. When we were younger, right? 13, you want the new J's. If you grew up in public housing, mama can't get the new J's.
Yeah,
so you got to do what you got to do. Well, once you figure it out, say, for example, we start breaking in cars at 13.
That's crazy.
If we go to the armory and break in 20 cars, we find 5 guns.
Yeah.
Right? We sell 4 and keep 1.
Right.
Then Now I got a pistol. I might become a robber.
Right.
I might become a carjacker. Right. So then I run up on somebody. I'm sticking guns in people's face.
Yeah.
Well, then I run up on somebody and they say, "Nah, little homie, I'm not giving it up."
But now 211 it turned into a 187.
There you go. So
in a
with
split
robbery and carjacking, that's a mandatory minimum, right? So you're gonna go sit for 10 years.
Damn.
Or, well, let's go back. You might have a switch. That's the new popular thing. You're making a regular gun into a fully automatic machine gun. That's a mandatory federal offense. But our rappers and some people are glorifying that, making it seem like that's what you're supposed to do.
And I think that's a testament, and you know, being where you from, I down talk all that. I down the shooter. Because I was raised around a bunch of killers to say, well, you don't need all them shots no way.
Right.
You know, all them extra clips and all that. There's a lot of stuff I ain't gonna say on your but you know what I'm picking up.
Right.
So I think if you come from that lifestyle, you gotta let them know. Be like, man, there's some stuff that everything that these rappers are talking about, it make it sound good. It's the reason why they still roaming around on the streets, because they're not really living it. They're not really doing it.
Well, with most rappers, with the first album, it'd be grimy as all outdoors.
Man, it'd be crazy.
You'd be like, oh, that's the realest I ever heard.
I'll be here recording them too.
Then once you get money, you go away from that. When Jeezy say trap or die, Jeezy kids go to private school now.
Yeah.
He raps different. What I'm getting at is, we as older people, not just, I love rap music too.
Yeah.
We have to show them different ways of life.
Right.
You have to show them. We tell kids to be successful, graduate from school, do this.
Yeah.
Tell them about when you fell down. How did you get back up?
Listen.
Right? Because guess what? If you don't tell them how to get back up, how are they supposed to know how to get back up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I love talking to kids, because when I'm gone, guess who got to take the baton of Unplugged?
Yeah.
Some young
my
person got to
boys.
come in here and do all of this, right?
Yeah.
Pour into them like somebody poured it in you.
So,
Be
yeah.
the daddy that you didn't have. To a teacher told me, she said, y'all dunkles. I said, what the hell is a dunkle? She
Right.
said, y'all daddies and uncles for the kids that don't have them.
That's hard.
Step up and speak up. Stop condoning bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop condoning and saying, oh, that's just the hood, bro. No, that ain't the hood. That's the way we've made the hood.
Yeah.
When the hood, I grew up on the 4700 block of Macmillan, right?
That is
when we
out of
walk down the
control.
street, if my neighbors would discipline us, right?
Yeah.
And if my mama found out my neighbor disciplined us, she gonna beat our ass too.
Right.
It's okay.
Those days are now. It's mind your business.
Right.
Everybody worrying about themselves. Everybody don't go home to the same thing,
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, for
and
sure.
that's part of the problem.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I went through some, what was that, middle school, my 8th grade year.
Yeah.
That was middle school, my 8th grade year. The same thing that this little girl going through with Hazelwood. I went through the kind of the same situation. Little dude, my great grandma just passed. He like, man, F your grandma, man. I don't care to be dead. Like this was a dude
I got
that,
action.
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I bet. So I remember we was walking through class, slammed his head against the locker. Then I broke like few of his ribs, hit him in his chest a couple times. I really messed him up. So he went to the hospital. I got locked up. They locked me up. I'm sitting in that cell. I'm like, man, I'm about to straight be. And they like, if he die, you doing the rest of your life in jail. Hands down. These cops didn't care that I hoop. They didn't care about nothing. They was like, yo, we want you. One cop, he like, listen, if you shug, I'm going to put you on the floor. I promise you. And so I get to Normandy Police Department. There was another cop in there. She's like, I remember you from Paysdale. I remember you from the neighborhood. You and your brother hoop all the time at the court. Her name Tweety Bird. She passed away now, but she was like, listen, I'm gonna make sure I call your mom, because they're not trying to call your mom right now. Let them know you're here. They want you to sit in here for a while.
Right.
I'm gonna call your mom, let them know you're here. So I'm like, all right, bet. My mom called my auntie. She my lawyer at the time, and then my lawyer at the time telling my uncle and everybody to start writing letters. You need to start writing letters towards this little dude, because he about to go to jail if this little dude die.
Right.
Little dude end up not dying, of course, but they was like, listen, this is your first offense. You good. I had to go through like this court system. I had to do, man, it was crazy. It was so much I had to do, and I was like, man, I'm never going through that again.
Well, it's funny that you talk about the Hazelwood East situation.
Yeah.
Because I had to speak there last week.
Yeah.
And like I spoke with them about who won in that situation. Nobody. You won the fight, but you lost the war because just like you, she's fighting for her life.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because as the story unfolds, technically she was the victim.
Yeah, she was.
And in that situation, though, who's at fault? Because some say it's the school fault. Some say it's the school district fault. Because they removed the police from the school district.
Yeah, they did.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did.
But we have to be able to hold ourselves accountable. We should be able to hold, the police is not needed. In certain neighborhoods, the police, when we arrive on calls, I'll be like, you good?
Yeah.
They'll be like, we got it, D. Because I knew that they were able to handle themselves.
Right.
And we have to get back to that.
Right.
The police can only do so much because we allow them to do
True.
it. When we step up as men and police ourselves, they not needed. You know what I'm saying? Guess what they got to do? Fall in line. Some of the police take their orders from what they see every day.
Right.
So if they see us robbing, stealing, and killing from each other, some may think, once again, rites of passage. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But when you show them different, they become different.
Right.
You want to know why in suburban communities they don't do some of the things they may do in the city?
Man.
Because they're held accountable.
They're held accountable.
And that's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to be afraid of the police.
Yeah.
Learn the system.
Yeah.
Learn the complaint system, how to complain.
Yeah,
how
for
to hold somebody accountable for their actions. And that same officer that you feel is a tyrant, he could be it's like he could be lassoed in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I love doing Clippers and Cops, because what you got to see firsthand a veteran cop.
Yeah, I got to see
new
everything.
cops and other cops. That's why when you were saying I would check, those new officers aren't as seasoned. They haven't learned how to interact with the public.
Man, they was
like
on their
that.
gun, man. They I literally was so nervous sitting by, and they sitting by me.
They were right.
And that's why I was like sounding so aggressive when I asked my question, because I'm like, I might have to fire off on him and literally be in jail for the rest of my life, because this dude got his hand on his gun while we sitting right by him. I'm like, bro, it's all cops in here. Nobody's going to do anything.
But guess what,
I left my bag in my car.
Guess what? Watch this. That's why I love doing Clippers and Cops, because guess what? This gives the voice back to the people.
Yeah, true.
Because guess what? If he did you wrong, this is the opportunity for you to confront him in a safe space.
Safe, man.
And say what you need to say with no recourse.
I'm at every Clippers and Cops that you have around. I promise you.
Watch
I'm
this.
not saying that because you're on the show. Like, anybody that don't know the system, anybody that needs to just get some stuff out their chest, you need to pull up to Clippers and Cops, because that whole program is just for you to understand and know how to react to these situations with these cops. It's not easy. They're trying to go home, you're trying to go home, and at the end of the day, if we both can go home, bro, we win. Like, we win.
Watch this.
That's how we win.
The next one in Jefferson City
I'm
on
pulling
April
up,
24th at the state capitol with the House reps and the state senators.
That's hard. That's hard.
Why? Because we've been to the barbershop. We've been to the classroom. We've been to the detention center and the prison. Let's go talk to the lawmakers.
Right.
Let's go talk to the people that put things in place.
That's hard.
That's change.
Yeah.
My view of change is you have to attack it from all different ways.
Yeah.
And so we're at the rotunda of the state capitol.
Right.
And you can pretty much, if they email you questions, we will ask it to the politicians of this state. Why?
Right.
Because it's crazy. They believe in the program too.
Man.
It's not crazy.
It's something different.
It's
That's
something
it.
different, but it's necessary.
So listen, man. I wanted to get you on Cigar Talk, first of all, to talk about Clippers and Cops.
Right.
But really just to give you a smoke, because you are from St. Louis. You from the worst part of St. Louis.
I tell the kids that, though.
You from the worst part, bro.
People in Atlanta, when Ferguson happened, People think Ferguson is the worst.
Man, listen, Ferguson was the damn suburbs.
Thank you.
A lot of people don't understand that.
Shit, Ferguson was safe as hell.
You came from a two-parent
I
home
stayed in
that worked
Ferguson
at,
when it
that
happened.
worked at Boeing.
Yeah,
like, to me, that was good living.
Man, that was the perfect area.
Growing up, we knew not to drive up West Florissant, though.
Yeah, for sure.
We would take 70 to 170 and
Wasn't
around
going
the
through your
270.
neighborhood at all.
No,
Wasn't going through there. But at the end of the day, I do want to bring you on here to give you a smoke, man. Like I give flowers and smoke. So at the end of the day, man, anything that we haven't touched on with this thing, Cigar Talk, like just speak on it now or whatever. And because we about to end it in a minute. But yeah, man, I just wanted to really get you on here and just give you a smoke, bro.
I
Like,
appreciate it. For me, I feel like when people speak on Clippers and Cops, I'm not saying it's an end all.
Yeah.
It's something I thought of eating a bag of Doritos on my couch.
That's hard.
Right? But to see the impact that we've been able to have in such a short period of time and the reaction that you had, you wasn't even there for an hour.
Man, I wasn't there. I said what I had to say and I was out.
But so many people come in there and they don't even know that this exists.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
think that this is even possible.
Yeah.
Why? Because what we've been taught. We've been taught to, they not for us, this, that, and others. Well, what are we doing? We can't keep doing the same thing. And so for myself, I really believe that I can change the world.
For sure. For sure.
I drink, like I can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I wake up dreaming about change.
Yeah.
And basically, by making a ripple that leads to a wave. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm 6 years in. We done been to different cities, different states. We done been to different countries. We've been to different continents.
Right.
We did a call with the U.S. Embassy in Greece
That's crazy.
with 20 countries on the call, speaking about BLM. You see what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, the thing that's going on at the Capitol, that's how I'm trying to move. Like, I'm not a talker. This the show me state, right? Don't keep talking about what's wrong if you're not willing to step up and get your hands dirty to make it right. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just me. All of us got to do something to make it right. Moving back from Atlanta, I stayed in Atlanta for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
The thing I loved about Atlanta is togetherness.
True.
In Atlanta, what you do? Oh, let me put you together. I don't
That's
even
how
got
it
nothing.
is there.
Let me put you together with somebody. The thing about St. Louis is there are so many nonprofits in St. Louis
100%.
that do not work together.
They don't. They don't.
Some nonprofits know how to get the bag.
Yeah.
But they not sharing it with you who really getting your fingers dirty.
Yeah.
And so we have to think togetherness. We have to make, I used to say this, make St. Louis great again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember when the May Day Parade came up Page. That's how far I go back. All right? I used to walk up Walton to Page and we used to put a chair and watch the May Day Parade. Right?
Dang.
That's the St. Louis that I remember. I remember when the fudgery was at Union Station.
Yeah, the fudgery.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
St. Louis can be dope. All these different places that we go to, why can't we do that here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have dope individuals from here that go elsewhere and flourish.
And win.
I wouldn't have been the person that I am if I stayed.
On me. Yeah. Well,
Why is that? But that's a problem.
It's a problem.
If we know that's a problem, why are we continuing to accept it as such?
We got to change it, and that's what Unplug is trying to do. We try to change. Like when these little dudes come in here, man, it be some little dudes that come in here. You see my windows,
right?
Yeah,
I saw
it's some shit. But
I don't want to know, but it's getting late.
Yeah, but it be some guys that come in. They respect me. They're like, man, Solo, man, you a straight stand up guy. I'm like, yeah, but I had a story too.
Right.
My story is similar to you. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody. The thing part about talking to kids is even their teachers have a story. But most teachers don't have the time to tell them about their own transgressions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just tell them, get your grades, graduate, be good.
You're going to be great.
Right. No. Tell them about when you failed down. That's
for sure.
The first part I tell about is where I'm from and what happened in my life.
Right.
My office right now is the same office I got expelled from.
Dang, that's crazy.
And when I tell that, guess what they look?
They're like
for real?
Man, that's
no,
crazy.
I saw the suit and tie. I thought you just woke up like that.
Bro,
no.
I seen the jerseys. I was like, man, you one of me, man. How many jerseys do you own before we get off?
I got about I try
million?
to coordinate, but because we're constantly at different schools and different events, and I of course I gotta rep my brand.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how I get instant, just like you said.
Yeah.
People check your swag. First thing I do is look what your shoes looking like.
On me.
And that's what, as black people,
That's what we
That's
do.
the first thing I look at.
And so with that, I thought, okay, if I can coordinate a jersey with the shoes,
Yeah.
bam. And guess what? Every time we go, I'm at Riverview tomorrow, matter of fact.
Right.
The kids, first thing they gonna say is, hey, where can I get one of them jerseys?
Yep.
Even though it say police, this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
it's swag.
Right.
And so you can't say, your gear almost speaks for you.
Right.
And
right.
so with the jersey situation, I love my boy, Tyrone Dennis. He do our social media. He
Yeah.
actually came up with this.
Dope.
And we just pitched it because as police, we trade patches.
Right.
And so all these different patches are from different police departments.
Yeah.
Different police people. And they give me a patch. And they sitting in a box at the crib. I said, nah, I'm going to put them on the
Put
jersey.
them on the jersey.
You know what I'm saying?
Represent,
I'm going to make policing cool.
Make
Because
policing cool again.
Exactly. Well, it
Yeah.
ain't never been cool. The
Yeah.
police wasn't
Yeah,
made
shit
for
crazy.
us or by us.
Yeah.
But when I go talk to these kids, some of these kids actually say, man, I ain't never heard it like that.
Yeah.
Why? Because they've only gotten it from a white perspective.
Yeah, man.
This is an opportunity to show something different.
Yeah. So listen, man, I appreciate you for coming on. We got to
Thanks.
do this again, man. But
Thank you.
I want you to bring one of your cop friends as well. But I want you to bring a white guy.
A white cop?
Yeah, I want you to
I
bring a
got
white
you.
cop, man.
The crazy part about
yeah.
white cops, though, and this, I tell some of my white
Yeah.
officer friends, I can speak on what it's like to be a cop, but I
Yeah.
can't speak what it's like to be a white officer working in
yeah.
an inner city
I
community.
don't want that motherfucker to sit right here. I want him to sit right
This what I
here.
tell I've been on several podcasts and shows.
Yeah.
And we went to Milwaukee, and my guy, shout out to Tory Lowe.
Yeah.
He said, oh, we ain't never had a cop on here. We about to
Oh,
go in on it.
yeah.
Right, because I'm not that guy. You
Yeah.
can ask me anything, but are you prepared for the answer that I'm going to give you
And
back?
no lie, when I asked my question, I wasn't prepared. Every other cop looked at me. I'm like, shit, I got to get the fuck up out of here. I was like, yo, I'm tripping asking this question. And then you was like, nah, that's a good question. And I was
What
like,
you asked?
oh, what?
What did you? I don't even remember what you asked.
I said, it was somebody in there that was like, we got to remember that it starts at home and all this stuff starts at home. Like, listen, it don't just start at home. Like,
Right.
we could go across a cop just having a bad day.
Right.
And that cop could destroy your life forever.
Correct.
And then you don't make it home.
That's
since
correct.
it starts at home. So
Correct.
I'm like, how do we change that? And then everybody's like, man, I was looking at them two like, man, fuck that, bro. And then you was like, that's a good question. I was like, all right, bet. I'm
safe.
I'm safe.
He got
as
my
hell.
back.
Yeah, right on.
But what's crazy about those younger officers is they will become awesome officers.
Yeah, for sure.
By hearing the cries of the community.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what the program
For
is
sure.
for.
Yeah.
Name a program where you can literally sit down with the police
Yeah, man.
in a safe space where you ain't in an interrogation
Man.
room and you can ask anything that you want without no
Man.
recourse.
That was crazy. I think everybody should go watch Clippers and Cops.
I invite
Man.
clippersandcops.org.
Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. What the business is. Well, let's talk about it. Breaking news, trending topics, we gon' talk about it. Pop out solo if I don't